Well, hello again, everyone. This is Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy with the Nautilus Dry Docks, and this is my weekly update video. I build RC submarines. Hopefully you like watching me build RC submarines. Without any further delay, we gotta get this week started. Alright, a little recap of where we're at here. Just finished upgrading my Thunder Tiger SeaWolf deep sea version to a fully wireless. And I also integrated a bunch of upgrades in there. So we need to test this thing, and hopefully that'll happen today. Fingers are crossed. Probably tomorrow if I need to as well before I leave on my trip. In the background there, you can see Virginia class submarine. That's a USS Texas. Very storied submarine. If you're not following my channel, this ended up at the bottom of a pond for about 2 months where it sat and actually weathered itself fairly well. We had Texas out at the pond yesterday, and on the surface it was absolutely immaculate. It did a really good job. We did a big brushless motor upgrade here, and propels this thing through the water at a super fast speed, drawing only 1.7 amps. How crazy is that? But we had a leak in the aft compartment, which caused her to be negatively buoyant, and she sat on the bottom for a couple of minutes until I fished it out. So we're gonna diagnose what's going on with that thing here. And what we're gonna kick things off with this morning is Red October. This is looking pretty slick, if I do say so myself. And working on a new seal for the waterproof box compartment in there. So we'll do that, let that kick off, and then move on to some other things, including special project for October that's near and dear to my heart. New gasket has been attempted with the Red October here. You can see I've got RTV oozing out. Previously, I had just filled the channel of the upper box because there's a lip on the inside that presses into it. That was leaking, and so I went with a thicker bead in this particular case, and again, you can see it all oozing out there. Once it's fully cured, I'll pop this lid off and clean up the edges and everything, and I think with that thicker seal, I'll be able to torque these bolts down a lot more, and we'll get a very positive seal. I have no doubt it's absolutely gonna work with 0 leaks. It's always the way it works with submarines. There's never leaks. On to Texas, USS Texas, and basically I got everything all hooked up, or just got to do a function test. Need to make sure that everything is fine, which I'm sure it is because the water didn't come up to any componentry in here. We'll fire it up, make sure it's working, and then we're going to reassemble and try and figure out where the water was getting in. Well, this is interesting. So I've got everything fired up here. And when I go to turn the boat on, I want you to watch the switch here, the remote switch. That's this unit right here. Watch it. I heard some, oh, there's smoke. Is it this stupid electronic speed controller? What's sizzling over here? Oh, no, the speed controller. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, let's pop into things and see what's going on here. All right, we are back in fighting trim again. We got throttle going, we got rudder, we've got stern planes, we've got pump. I'm not going to pump because I got water in here and I already goobered all over my workbench. But we are functional. Everything is looking good. Now, let's put this thing back together again, pump out the ballast system so it's not got scummy water in there, and try and figure out where that water is getting into this crazy thing from. Time to pump out the scummy water. Ah, it's peeing on the wrong side. Scummy water evacuated. Time for some testifications. This is my test hose. And there's a port on the front of the cylinder. I'm just going to uncap that, put the test hose on, and blow into the cylinder. Now, in theory, it's going to pressure up, and if I just kind of hold that, it'll hold the pressure for a long time. Should be able to feel it with the mouth feel. Oh. Well, I mean, I don't know if this is smoking gun or not. Look. Could be leaking around the seal, the drive shaft seal. But it's just a little tiny bit, because listen. That was a lot of water in there for a couple little drips like that. Yeah. Well, I can always tighten this up because that's the way it's designed. You loosen this, tighten that, and then you're good. Let's go about the procedure for that, shall we? So to tighten these up, what you want to do is loosen the retaining nut, which I can't do with my fingers because I'm too weak. All right, loosened. So in theory right now this is too loose, and we can run our drive shaft. Oop, that's not the right one. So it's nice and smooth. What I'm going to do is tighten down that nut that puts the pressure on the seal. I'm going to tighten it, and I'm going to listen for an RPM drop. All right, I think we're good. I think we're good there. I'm going to tighten that up. Try pressuring it up again. Do a little squirty squirt with some soap or something. All right, let's see. I got soap smeared all over there. I did see a little bit. We need to do some more torquifications, I think. Just a little tighter. That is really soapy. Yuck. Now I get to clean the soap off. At least it's clean now. So now you may be asking yourself, well, what's next? You're just going to throw it in the water and everything will be fine? Well, no. Now we're going to do an actual practical test in the top secret test facility under the actual water, cycling all the functions, moving everything, making sure that, when you move this, it's not, opening a breach or something like that. So once it gets a little lighter out, we will head out to the top secret test facility and give her a good test. So now that Texas is ready for the water, I'm in a holding pattern because it's still dark outside. I told you about a near and dear project to my heart. Let's get into that. So you guys are already familiar with my SeaWolf, and I'm super excited to get that in the water. Hopefully today. Precursor to the SeaWolf was the Thunder Tiger Neptune. This is the OG Neptune, and it's put together a little bit differently. If you look on the front here, it's like a bolt-on panel as opposed to like a snap-on one. I don't know. To be honest, for the amount of hassle, this is not significantly harder to get into than this one, and I think it looks better than with these giant catches. But anyhow, that aside, what we're talking about right here is a fully functional, static diving RC submarine that hit the market a gajillion years ago. The modern SeaWolf shares a lot of design characteristics and everything with this. This uses brushless motors. This has standard brushed motors. But this particular unit that you see before you is going to form the foundation of an upcoming raffle to support breast cancer research. If you guys follow my channel, you'll know that Renee is currently battling breast cancer. She had a mastectomy a couple of weeks ago. So this is obviously of something that's of tantamount importance to us, and I want to support it as much as I can. Hopefully you guys will be on board to help out. So the plan is to take this Thunder Tiger and paint it up in pink livery, and we're going to raffle it off. And when the raffle is over, the new owner will get this complete, ready to run Neptune for the cost of a raffle ticket. This Thunder Tiger has been upgraded. I got this from David Ruiz, and you can see it's all metal linkages. It's got an upgraded propeller in the back. It's pretty slick, all things considered. I think it's going to look pretty dang cool once we get the pink livery all done up. Now, I know that a lot of you are like, I'm not going to run a pink boat. Well, you know, that's perfectly fine, because included in the raffle is, if you want, and I really hope you don't, but if you want, I'll repaint the boat in a color of your choice. Single color of your choice. If you want a black stealth like Knight Rider or Airwolf or something like that, we can do that. We can go back to yellow. We can do gray. It just doesn't include like fancy paint. I'm not going to like weather it and do all that crazy stuff. Just... and it'll be color of your choice. So, we need to get to work stripping this thing down and painting it up in its new colors. Why don't you look at something cool, really cool? So these are the instructions that Dave sent. And look, it's pink. I don't know if it's sun bleached or his printer was running out of paper or what, but it's pink. This boat was meant to be. So here is the guts of the Thunder Tiger. Again, you can see that fundamentally everything is pretty well the same. The big difference is the motor's mounted inside the watertight compartment because it's brushed. This one, because it's brushless, it can run in the wet with proper maintenance. Dave did a great job. He's got everything all greased up and everything's looking super cool. What I need to do, though, is figure out which radio controls this crazy craft and charge up the batteries, make sure everything is running well. Let's take a look at the new color scheme. So, pink. Pink on pink. Looking pretty dang cool, if you ask me. This is the exact same paint that we had painted the McDelphin originally, because that was originally a breast cancer boat as well. But yeah, we're just gonna not touch it, let it all dry, and get her put back together again. But I'm gonna take a look for some stickers, some breast cancer stickers. And yeah, we'll get this thing put back together again. But we got to figure out how we're going to control this this crazy critter. And I'm going to go ahead and get the batteries charged up. All right, let's make it happen, boys. And we're back out at the top secret test facility. We got stuff. Cylinders here. Test tube is in place, and we're going to do an air test first. And then if that works, like it probably does, we'll dunk it fully powered and cycle through a couple times and see what's going on. Well, I am at a complete and utter loss. Everything is perfectly fine. I blew in. I had like 2 little air bubbles escape from there. Tested it, ran the ballast all the way down, all the way up. No problem whatsoever.
Telemetry recovered.
But now what's happening? We're fired up and we got telemetry. Everything is fine.
Telemetry lost.
And it just shut off. It's randomly turning itself off. Even with 0 amps of current draw. Okay, well, leak is addressed, but now we have a problem with this thing shutting off. I have a feeling it is the remote switch that's kicking off. One thing at a time. The leak has, in my expert opinion, been addressed. And now we're chasing electrical gremlins. Back to the shop it goes, where it will sit for a week. Well, we're going to have one more go at actually putting something in the water that works. See how the SeaWolf does. Have hopes. Have hopes. Holy. Wow, that thing is a rocket ship. Well, that was pretty friggin' cool. Thing motors like a bastard. One thing about it though. Well, a couple things about it. So, I think I can add some foam. Get this thing up a little higher out of the water because I'm only kicking the ballast on for 5 or 6 seconds and there's so much more ballast capacity with this. Not that you really need it, but you know, it'd still be good to get it up out of the water a little bit further. The other thing, it'll move along fairly, you know, quickly, drawing about 4 amps, which is about right. But if you goose it, that current draw jumps to 13 amps. So you know that electronic speed controller is getting warm, the motor's probably getting warm. If you're part of the dive tribe, you'll know, we talked about this, your current draw increases exponentially with your speed. It's actually, to double your speed takes 8 times the current. Yep. So, a little bit of judicial use of throttle is called for with this SeaWolf. But overall, I'm really, really happy with it. That automatic pitch controller just keeps this thing locked right in. I don't need to do anything to keep it at a normal depth. Now, I will say to a certain degree, it almost takes a little enjoyment out because you want to like dive and swoop and jump, and this is more like even. So I can do more. I can link the forward and aft dive planes together on the controls and all sorts of cool stuff like that. But for now, this is a successful test. Before something goes wrong, we're just going to pull it in, bring it into the shop, let it dry out, and just record the win and just sleep on that for the next week. Well, boys and girls, as you can see, I'm back from my trip to Florida and landed a couple hours ago and did some email stuff, got the dive tribe queued up for later this afternoon, but I just had to get back out here to the top secret test facility because the Nereid Rose needs to get fully tested. For all you people who are so generously donating for a chance to win her, you need to make sure it works. Here she is in full submerged trim. Just beautiful. Just a whisper of positive buoyancy. Should be a blast. I'm gonna pick it up, dunk it in the big test facility, and let's just see what she does. Well, I gotta say, she behaved absolutely perfectly on her maiden voyage. What a nice girl she is. Really tight turning radius. Did you see that thing skidding around underneath the water? That was pretty cool. It's trimmed out perfectly. Dave did a great job initially getting it all set up, so I think we're good to go. All right, we're back out, and I have something new. Mr. Kinkel, who's a member of the dive tribe, came up with this idea of using dissolvable 3D printer filament, typically used for supports, and using it as a pin for a release for an emergency buoy. And this is his prototype that he sent me. And if you look right on the top, there's that little dot on the end, right there. And that's water dissolvable filament. So what we're going to do, we're going to set up an experiment. We're going to dunk this in the mini test facility, and we're going to set up the waterproof camera to take a picture in 5-minute increments, and we're going to see if it pops, and if it does pop, how long does it take to pop. He said when his experiments it was anywhere from 50 minutes to like 2 hours, but like that could have been previous iterations. So yeah, we're going to give this a try and see how it works. All right, guys, it's Sunday morning, and I'm going to attempt to get this video out for you, just so you get something, just a little something to get you by. I know I only had like a day or 2 days worth of content, but hey, it's a little something, like an appetizer. Our emergency buoy system that John Kinkel came up with, it blew at just under 3 hours, which I think is pretty cool. If your sub goes down, and you know, you're at a complete loss as to where it is, within 3 hours, that buoy would come up and you'd be able to find it. I think you could adjust that period of time by modifying the amount of surface area that that pin is exposed to. So over the course of time, I think I'm going to play with this idea, this design a little bit more, and potentially post the 3D files up on the 3D files section of my website. So that's cool. Maybe we'll work with John on that, get his current design. You guys can play around with it. So this was inside. Hold on, where's my stand? So this is the unit, and it pops like that. And then here's the buoy, comes out. There's 12 feet of cable. So that little hatch, you know, works really good. And this can easily be disguised as a missile hatch, or, you know, an escape trunk on the top of a Russian boat, or, you know, a mast cover in a mast or periscope in a sail. So this is cool. I like this idea a lot. Of course, the Nereid got out and tested. Absolutely awesome. Make sure and get your tickets. It's going to be a fun submarine. Hopefully someone who gets it will keep it in this livery, but if not, like I said, I'll repaint it for you. I will. Last but not least, you guys have known that I've been working on my Thunder Tiger SeaWolf. I got 2 of those things. So now you know how to upgrade and what you can do to upgrade it. I'm just going to let it go for cost. I'm not going to have any time to work on it. So if you want that, I'm going to have that listed. And I've also got 2 Thunder Tigers. Those I'm not going to have a listing for because I would have to go through and take pictures and all of that stuff. But they're there. If you have any interest in a Thunder Tiger Neptune, the yellow version that this is based off of, hit me up. Hit me up. $1,000 for those. $1,400 for my other SeaWolf. So where does that put us where we're at right now? The SeaWolf is done. The Nereid is done. The Virginia has been checked and is ready for another outing. I don't know when that's going to take place, but it'll be soon. And the Typhoon had the watertight compartment address, so that is going to be ready for some more work, installation of the LEDs when I get back from my trip coming up. So I leave on Tuesday. I'll still be getting some work done over the course of today and tomorrow, but that'll be in the next video. You guys have a great rest of your day. drop your comments, do your subscriptions, do your notifications, and I'm gonna let you go. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, we'll catch you next time.